How do you notice that he's changed or taking on that leadership?
Well, as you guys know, in our defense and our scheme, when you move over to that boundary corner, the responsibility changes and it increases. And so you've got to, you're taking on a different demeanor in everything that you do. And so your style of play has to change, your responsibilities change, and that carries over into the weight room and everything else, film study and those types of things. So to me, that's where his focus has been in this offseason, is preparing himself to play that position.
How's it been working with Coach Ash?
Awesome. Love Coach Ash. Again, I would like to think that I'm a lifelong learner, and the experiences that I've had and the exposure that I've had to different coaches and different strategies and different ways to approach the game is refreshing. And I think Chris and I are working really well together. A lot of communication, and so I think it's been a real blessing for me, and I hope he would say the same thing. But I'm enjoying working with him.
What's that different thing he brings, Kerry, that's different from you guys?
Well, I think that there's probably a lot of things that are different. First of all, the style of play we're playing is different. The fact that when Coach Meyer, when Coach Withers left, one of the things that I talked to Coach Meyer about right away was we need to start meeting together. We need to start spending more time together as a cohesive unit. And so Chris and I are able to do that and spend time together, and that's worked out really well. He's got good energy, he's got good passion. Everett was a good coach. It's just but we're playing a style of defense that is very appealing to me as a corners coach, and a lot of the stuff that I believe in, and so I'm very, very excited about that.
Are you guys playing field, boundary and field? I mean,
yes.
Still, or because I think the defensive line's going more of a left-right situation.
Yes.
And Duran's moved to the.
He's the boundary right now.
Oh, he's boundary. Yeah.
He's the boundary right now.
And what tells you he's ready for that? Well, obviously he's got to be. He's your returning.
Well, he doesn't have to be. I mean, here's the reality. Somebody has to be.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody has to be. And there's going to be competition. We've got good young players. But when you have young players, they're unproven players. So they've got to get out and play every day, which is great. We've been challenged by really good receivers all spring long. We're going to have that again all fall camp. And then we're going to line up that first week, and they got to go play. And we'll find out. But we've got enough guys with talent that I think we can play more players and get them out there.
If tomorrow was a game,
yep.
Would Marmani be the other corner?
Yeah, but we're going to play more than two.
Yeah.
I want you to know that. We're going to play more than two. Garyon is right in the mix. Eli Apple has had a very good spring. He's over some health issues that we really had gone undetected, and so I'm really excited about that, and I'm eager, and I'm going to tell you what, those two freshmen coming in are going to have a chance to play. We're going to play more than two corners, that's for sure.
Are you deeper than you were last year?
Not yet, but we will be, and we'll have to be, because the style of play dictates it. So those guys are going to have to play.
Can you give an update on the kicking? How's that going for you? Are you guys
Which specifically would you like to talk
punting
about?
and kicking? Are you where you want to be?
Kickers, the specialists?
Yeah, the kickers, yeah.
Oh, no, you're never where you want to be. I think our punter has a chance to be the best punter in the country. I think he's a very dynamic kid who can do a multitude of things with a football in his hands. He's still learning the game of American football and getting used to all of the other surroundings, but I do believe he has a chance to be a really, really good player. Kyle Clinton, to be honest with you, has had a phenomenal spring, and he's competing very well with our new high school senior / freshman, Sean Nurnberger. We're not where we want to be in the place kicking game right now, but they have powerful legs, and that's good news. We've just got to get more work there, and I think they have a chance to be very good.
What does that mean? Not where you want to be? Does that means they're being inconsistent, making kicks?
Yeah, we're missing too many kicks.
Yeah.
Snap, hold, kick. Those are all new guys. You got a new holder, you got a new snapper, you got a new kicker. Takes time, and because of the rules, we're not allowed to work with them. They've only like this is the 9th day where they're allowed to have a ball and go kick and do that kind of stuff. That's challenging. So we're a ways away. They've got some work to do.
One of the things that appealed to you guys, if I'm not mistaken, about Sean was just his ability to knock down kicks in pressure situations. I mean, how's he kind of acclimated so far this spring?
Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the pressure buckles him every now and then. I think he's a high school senior, and I think our head coach stands right there, right next to him, and our guys are yelling and hollering. There's a lot of big bodies running at him, and I think at times it's overwhelming. I don't think it'll be a problem in the fall. That's why we're doing it like we're doing it right now. We're going to throw everything we can at him now so that after spring, he's more accustomed to it.
Is he going to be surrounded by a couple of thousand students on Saturday?
Let's hope so. Let's hope 5,000 students show up and they all get really close and yell really nasty things at him and see how he goes.
You guys have used a safety usually as the nickel back. Might you use a corner sometimes as the nickel? You guys?
We've used a corner since I've been here. Tyvis Powell was a corner, and he played the nickel. Okay, now we used Von Bell at the end of the year last year, but we've used corners at the nickel. Armani played nickel today. You know, it just depends on the depth at the various positions and how we're going to do that. Good question.
As of last Thursday, I think your players said you were only working on base defense. Has it been 2 or 3 practices now that you've?
We started to incorporate a little bit of nickel. Yep, we started to do a little bit of nickel, but we're still a few players short in springtime to be able to play a lot of nickel right now.
Who you rolling at nickel? Who's the
Armani
nickel?
played nickel,
Armani.
and Garyon plays the corner.
Yeah.
So that's the way we did it today. And there's some guys. Eli can play the nickel. When Von Bell's healthy, if Von is safety, Cam Burrows can play nickel. So we've got some pieces there, and we got some really good freshmen coming in that are going to have a chance to do
Kerry,
it.
is there such a thing as like having to get your guys' feelings back up, or I mean, after the way the year ended last year, y'all got thrown on quite a bit and stuff, and some guys got beat.
Well, if
Armani
let's be honest now. If you're a prideful person, they read the paper too.
Yeah.
And if you're a prideful person, you're a man. There's 2 ways to handle that, right? You can turn tail and run. You can point a finger at somebody else and blame them, or you can say, well, I'm going to resolve this situation. I think our kids are focused. I think they're energetic. I don't think they're down in the dumps. I think they're playing their butts off. You guys have been in practice, and I'm excited to coach them. And I think they got a chip on their shoulder, and I think they should. So,
a lot of people were criticizing the fact that sometimes the corners weren't up on guys and stuff. You don't strike me as a non-aggressive guy.
Thanks, appreciate that.
But does it take confidence to play that way? You understand? I mean,
it takes
for players
practice to play that way.
Yeah.
And football is made up of a myriad of different schemes. There's lots of different things, and it's not like you can just say, hey, go put those guys up on the line of scrimmage and go play. It's the scheme. It's how everything fits together. And not blaming that on anybody, but that was not what we were doing. We did it at times. We didn't make it our I don't know what the right word is. It wasn't our base concept. It was an adjustment. Now it is our base alignment, and we will adjust off of that. So in order to do that, you got to do it. So you notice every single snap of spring football we have lined up in press coverage, and that's the way we're going to learn it. And then we'll find out how we stack up when the fall comes around.
Are you getting a little more with the third linebacker? Is that giving you a little more of a nickel look? When we were in a base, it kind of seemed like that. More of a hybrid type linebacker guy.
Well, those 2 linebacker kids are very fast, athletic players. Chris Worley was a safety. Darren Lee was a high school quarterback/athlete. So that position has to be an athletic kid. And what remains to be seen is what all of their skill set will let them do. And I think everybody would tell you if you never have to substitute, you'd be happy. But with certain personnel groupings, you also feel like you're going to have to play some nickel and dime, and then you just got to run some guys out there. But those 2 kids are playing really well right now.
Sorry, Coach. Can you talk more about Garyon? Sounds like he's having a good spring. You mentioned he was running with the first team today. What's enabled him to kind of make a good jump this spring?
Well, he ran with the first team in nickel. I think Garyon is a long, athletic, explosive player. I think that his physical strength kept him off the field last year as much as anything, and the fact that he got here in June and it's a lot to learn for a brand new kid. And so he's playing every day. He's getting a ton of reps, and he's handling that very well. He's an intelligent football player. He can run really well, and because of his length, his arm length, he's a prototypical press corner. So we're excited to see him play. I think he will play a lot of ball this year.
Was it Garyon or Eli that you said had battled through injuries?
Eli. Illness, not injury.
Oh, okay.
It was an illness.
Yeah.
And nothing.
I don't know if I'm
anything-
allowed to talk about
Right.
that.
I was
so.
going to say, what can we say about just
I
that?
would
It's
say
an illness?
I'd say don't say. Yeah. I mean, you missed a few practices, so I don't want to talk. I don't think.
Urban Meyer
Take
referred
care.
to it earlier.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't want to do
You're off the
just
hook.
don't.
You're off the
Yeah.
hook.
You know how
Yeah,
that
the
goes.
boss
guys.
talked about it.
Okay, great.
Kerry, you're a former high school coach. You may remember that. But what does it mean?
I remember it really well.
What does like a clinic like next weekend, where you guys have all these guys, and you used to come to these and go to others and stuff, but what does it do for coaches?
Well, here's what it does for the high school coach. It gives them access to our staff. It gives them access to what we do. It gives them access to the techniques, the skills that we teach. They're going to get to stand right next to us in practice and watch that. There's an incredible volume of learning that can take place from not only our staff, but the speakers like the 2 head coaches from the major NFL teams in our state. And the neatest thing I think about our clinic next week is that it truly is a celebration of Ohio high school football. Coach is really big on this, and he talks about it all the time. The game was invented here. It's special here. It's important to our state, and Woody Hayes made it that way. And we have a responsibility to continue that here. And so we're going to do everything we can to celebrate those high school coaches and those high school players. And that's really what next weekend's all about.
Is your son going to be here?
My oldest son, probably. Yeah. I'm hoping that Marvin lets him come. But he was here for Pro Day, so I hope he gets to be.
Enjoy being on the same field with him a little bit on Pro Day?
Oh, it's awesome. For like Tim said, I'm a high school football coach. That's my kid. He's out here. He's coaching with the NFL. And it's really rewarding. And he's doing a great job, and I love him. And I'm proud of him, which is kind of neat.
Do you sense that the defense? I mean, I was asking a while ago about your guys and the defensive backfield, but is there a renewed sense of whatever you want to call it, esprit de corps, whatever, with this new approach? I mean,
here's what I think. And I think this is at the core of everything that we've talked about all spring. And I know you guys are getting tired of hearing power of the unit in 4 to 6 seconds. But here's the reality. If that is what is truly important, and it becomes important to our players, that 11 guys show up at the ball, and it doesn't really matter which number gets there first. In fact, maybe it matters which number gets there last, then it's really, really important. And our guys are playing like that. And we're not doing everything right. And we're not making every play you can possibly imagine. But I know this, when we put the film on, we're celebrating those 4 defensive linemen running around. And they're celebrating us getting the interception. And it just feels good. And it feels more like a family and more like a unit. And that is what is really, really exciting about our defense right now. We may not have, I don't know how many first-round draft picks will be this year. We'll have them down the road. But I know this, we're going to have 11 hats at the ball throwing a party when they get there. And that's what's really exciting.
I think my favorite soundbite from this spring has been, other than everything you said, Michael Bennett saying there's no defensive linemen, no linebackers, we're all silver bullets.
It really feels like that. It really does. And then we walk in a meeting room and it feels like that. And we're out there practicing and it feels like that. And there's just no pushback one player to another or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that it didn't exist at other times, but it has been the sole focus for our team. Urban has set the tone very clearly. Nothing else matters. 4 to 6 seconds, point A to point B. All of us doing the same thing, going as hard as we can. And the kids have bought into that. And they're not allowed to not buy into it, to be perfectly honest with you. It's not an option. It is the way it's going to be. And that's pretty exciting.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the whole philosophy change, or the way you guys have seemingly approached it now, is kind of a response to the way things ended last year. How uncomfortable was it for the first week or so to kind of make that next step and to kind of deal with that change?
I don't know about
that
comfort level. I mean, I think that, as we talked about before, whether it's a player or whether it's a coach, if you're at Ohio State, the expectations are incredibly high, and they should be. And we should fulfill those expectations. We should do everything we can. And so if something's not working the way it should, fix it. Fix it. And so the mission has been, from the day we walked off that field at the end of the year till we go back on the field again in the fall, to fix it. And so our guys, and this is what the head coach has decided, and he's right. We're going to go 4 to 6 seconds, point A to point B, as hard as we can, and everything else is going to take care of itself. And I believe that. And his point, and he makes it again and again and again, is that technique will never beat effort. And effort will always beat technique. And our guys, if we play as hard as we can, and we're the hardest playing team on the field on any given Saturday, we got a great chance to be successful. And our kids buy into that. And it's showing up out there.
Urban says he's sitting in on defensive meetings now.
Oh, yeah.
More defensive meetings.
Yeah, and that's really helpful for a lot of reasons. One, because he's a tremendous offensive mind, obviously. And he's a great football coach. So when he asks a question, there's a twofold part to that. One, he's asking it as an offensive coach. Okay, why are you doing that? And two, he's asking it as a really smart guy who's motivated a lot of teams to the pinnacle of the game. And so he's saying, okay, how can we do this better? What drill? What? And we kick it around and we talk about it. And it's invaluable. And I think it's challenging. And anytime you can add a really competent voice, and not really competent voice, into your room, how does that be? And that's a tremendous positive.
Coach, this new approach and rebirth seems like it could be a good thing for all you guys, but maybe for Armani as much as anyone. When you think, a talented kid who was a little hit and miss on the field last year, just talk about what this could do for him now that.
Well, here's what
he's
I would
got
tell you about
time
Armani
to
Reeves.
get
Nobody's
going.
ever going to question his 4 to 6 seconds. Anybody that's watched him play, whether it was one of the piranhas running down the field on kickoff or playing in a dime roll or a corner roll last year, you never have a question about how hard he's going to go. So he's already got that. And what a great thing for him, right? So when I walk into my meeting room, I say, okay, who's the hardest playing guy in this room? Day one, that's what I asked. My guys in my unit. And they all said Armani. Okay, fine. Why are we not all playing like Armani? So it lifts him up, and you know what? You walk with a little bounce in your step, and you come out here because now you became the standard. And so he goes really, really hard. And Armani's a good football player. He's young, he's inexperienced. He played, he didn't get as many plays, and you've got to play ball to play ball. And Armani will be very, very good this year. Real excited about him.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you so much.
You guys have a great day. All right.